go live.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. I got so many things open.
It warned me we were going live and I hit okay.
I can't see what's happening, so you might have to go log into your Facebook
Oh, I have a
from.
live at the top left of my screen. It says live. I'm on my phone, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a new computer, so that's been fun.
Don't you just love the technology's been fun this year? Oh, yep, we are live. I see it. It's here.
Yeah. All right. Woo!
All right. So, thank you so much, Dr. Jen, for being here today. I really appreciate it. We're starting off the new year doing different things and we're stepping out of our comfort zone. At least for me, I am. I know that for certain. Before I get started, I just want to say good morning to everyone. Today is January 6th, 2026. It is my brother's birthday, so happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday.
Yes. And we are on a call with Dr. Jennifer Martin Maples. I'm going to let
Hello.
her do her introduction versus
Oh
me
no.
reading it off.
So I am someone who believes that connection is the paramount to any relationship you have, obviously. But originally I am an optometrist, and now I'm opening up my wheelhouse to include teaching mindfulness to both doctors and parents, so that they can create better, genuine connection with both patients and their kids and anyone in the orbit, really. But those are the two biggest, you know, issues that I run into as a person. So yeah, that's what I do now. In addition to seeing patients 4 days a week, I have my Tuesdays off to work on this.
I love that for you. I mean, we have met almost a year ago.
Yeah,
And we were in a squad. We are squad
April.
mates. We're business besties. You have helped me a lot this past year, along with some
Same.
other incredible
You too.
women. So, yeah, I didn't even give myself my own introduction because I just assumed everyone could see my name on my page. But hey, everyone, welcome back to Breaking Chains podcast. Normally we do this recorded, but today I felt it in my spirit to do this live. So Dr. Jennifer told me, yes, you do it. And so I really appreciate you signing up for that. I am your host, Nicole Richards, and today we're going to talk about breaking chains, right? That generational chain that we have, as Dr. Jennifer is how I call her. Her being a parenting coach now for cycle breaking parents who are ready to stop repeating the patterns they grew up with. That is me so strongly. I have called her like, I don't know why I'm acting like I don't know how to do this anymore. I have had my son for 19 years and it's like being a new mom all over again. I'm like, what is the stage? You know what? Staying up in the middle of the night was so much easier versus like, I don't know where my child is, or I'm like life 360 and then I'm like trying to pull it back because I'm like somehow I've become the helicopter mom and it might be because of my own trauma, but yeah, I could go on and on about that. But I just want to talk about your calling and how you want to help these parents navigate big emotions, unexpected challenges, and those moments that push every button you didn't even know you had. Because when I tell you children know how to do that, no matter what age, I'm sure my parents say that about me in my big 40 age, right? Like I still push their buttons. So we're just gonna jump into it and start with the questions. So, Dr. Jennifer, let's start with your story. You grew up with an abusive stepmother and father who loved you but didn't protect you in the ways you needed. Take us into the house. What did you learn about emotions, about safety, about yourself?
So I learned to kind of stuff my emotions down. So it didn't feel like a safe place to have strong emotions or to have needs, honestly. So I kind of learned to just be kind of stoic. And that actually, was a benefit to me, like going through optometry school and all those things. But it also hindered me a lot in relationships and in like I make things a lot harder than they have to be because of that. So I've learned to rewire my brain. So, I'm still learning. It's always a practice, right? But yeah, so it was kind of, I was taught to be quiet. And I mean, people that knew me, even like in my 20s in optometry school, they couldn't hear me because I didn't talk loud enough. Like literally, physically, it showed up as like nobody could hear me when I talked. So, and now I talk to them, they're like, "Oh my God, I can hear you." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I've worked through some stuff, you know."
Yeah,
So people don't recognize sometimes, I think, that your body really is linked to all the things you've been to because you're always projecting the past on the present, whether you want to or not. So I'm learning to kind of rewire my brain so I know that I am in a safe place to, share strong feelings and, anger, all the emotions. They're all allowed. So
right.
that's what I'm learning to
I mean, like
practice
as you
now.
said that, I was sorry because I was thinking about like how you said like they couldn't hear you, but so you were just more like looking and like how that really the vision, right? Because I've been into this whole vision and vision statement. New Year's Eve, I went to church. I've never done that before. I got baptized at the end of last year, and it's just like, oh, I didn't see before because I was so busy trying to make my voice so vocal. Right. And like how you said,
Oh,
I'm thinking I'm shouting and like no one can hear me, no one can hear me. And then it's like now I stop caring about them hearing me. And I'm like, y'all just gotta watch.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
I'm not gonna worry about it anymore. I can't force you to understand what I'm trying to say until I realize the ones who need to hear me, they're gonna find me. Like how you and I are connected. It's like, oh, okay. I was shouting to the wrong crowd, right? I'm not doing that anymore. So no, I think our childhood needed to happen for us to be right where we are right
yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So you said you learned to be small, quiet, and invisible. What did that actually look like day to day? I think you kind of touched on it
So,
before.
yeah. So, like, in a physical sense, my body was physically outside that house anytime I had a chance. So I was riding my bike, climbing trees, playing kickball, and I was like, I would stay out of that house at any cost because I could have fun and play. So, thank God they didn't make me like stay inside. But yeah, so that's literally what I did. I physically tried to not be in the house, basically. And we always had like chores to do, and it wasn't just chores, it was like we had to do the entire, like all the housework, like split up between me and my older sister. So she was really good to me. So she became more of a maternal figure than any, stepmom. The stepmom was like not such a good influence. But my older sister really is the one who kind of brought me up, basically. She and my grandmother later on, but we'll get to that, I'm sure. um but yeah, so I just kind of try to stay out. And my where I was going with the sister thing, she would often like say, "I'll do your chores so you can go play." So that's the kind of like maternal instinct I think she had from a pretty early age, like trying to protect me and that kind of thing. So I was really lucky to have her.
I'm like, yeah, you were very fortunate. I
Yes.
was in here like,
Yeah.
I was like, no, no, that wasn't my story, and it's funny because some of it starts off the same, but it like can detour another way. And I
Diverges.
said,
Yeah.
my parents were very strict. As a child, I wasn't really allowed to go outside unless we were having a family barbecue once a year. So when those went away, it was like I
Oh,
really wasn't outside. Until I got into, extracurriculars, right? Like I signed up for everything possible. I was in the Caribbean club, I was on the bowling team, the softball team, volleyball, basketball, anything just so I wouldn't be home, right? Because it was like that was the only time I actually got to see freedom, right? I
yeah.
got to experience it. So and my sister, she was older than me. She's, my sister on my dad's side, and I think it was too much for her. So she left. She left. So I didn't grow up with her, and I didn't have that maternal. I didn't have my grandmother around either. So I'm like, oh man, I wish I had that. I wonder what my life would have been. But again, I can just say I'm here right now, and this is where I need to be. And I think that's just
Yeah.
what I want to put the message out to anyone who's like struggling with it is that, yeah, it sucks. Everyone got this trauma. Everyone's
Yeah.
story it can kind of be the same, and then it could be a little different, but you don't have to sit in it. Um, so like looking back now, how did that environment shape who you became today? Because I feel
So
like I was so myself.
I feel like in many ways well, it's just like everything. There's that duality. Like some of it actually strengthened me, right? Because I became an observer and I like could read emotions and I knew when to get the hell out of the room and those types of things. So that was kind of helpful in a way. But where it slowed me down was, like I said, learning to speak my like being able to communicate strong emotions to people or like disappoint people. I did not want to disappoint people. Like quitting my first job that I quit, I wrote a letter. I did not want to like have to disappoint them. So I was just like, I'll just write a letter and leave it and then go home for the shift. So Just a little, like it was really hard to have a voice. Like I said, like that's been a big um, hindrance to me, but it's also been like a huge learning path for me too. A area of growth. So yeah, and I probably have not answered your question. Sorry.
Listen, whoever needs whatever message we're coming with, that's what they're going to get, okay?
And I'm like, and I don't know what the
Well,
question
the
was.
environment does shape you because, like, listen, now you're using your voice. So that's, I mean, how we're explaining it. Like, we were the quiet kids who no one, like, a lot, my cousins would tell me, you're the shy one. I'm like, no, I wasn't allowed to use my voice. That's
Yeah,
the difference, right? Now I'm getting to use my voice. Now I'm smiling more, right? Like I look back at some of my childhood pictures and I'm like, I look so miserable. Like even at 5 years old, you could not get me to
yeah,
smile,
I know,
right? It's
I
like,
know.
oh my gosh.
You're like, oh, that's when I lost my spark. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but speaking of cousins, that's funny that you say that because I have a cousin. Shout out to Trina Atnip, um, and her name is something else now. I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but that's her name in my brain. Um, but when we were little, I would talk and nobody could understand me. This is when I lived with my grandmother because she lived close by, so she would interpret for me.
Oh,
She's
like
like,
how
she
the little
said
2 year,
blah 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 because
like
I
how
was
the
so
toddlers
quiet.
talk and you can't
Yeah,
understand them.
yes,
And you're
and
like,
I
what they say? They want
yeah,
juice. Oh.
I mumbled, yeah. So, and I was trying to like be quiet, like blah, blah, blah. So she would like interpret for me. So thank you, Trina.
Well, when did you realize I don't want to repeat this? Whether it was like passing it on to your child or like when you became a parent, you're like, oh, I can't operate the way I was operating as a child, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So, I knew from when I was a child that I didn't want to raise my kids that way. Like I was like, I'm gonna be like having the food they like, and because we like get in trouble for getting food. Like there was certain Pam food that was my stepmom's name, but she's passed away now. So just for the record, it's not gonna offend anyone. See, I'm still worried about offending people. See,
Same.
anyways, she's dead, and I'm worried. But anyway, she had like our special little hostess cakes that we could not touch. And if someone touched it, it was a freaking investigation, like who took the ding dongs or whatever. So that was something like even as a kid, I just remember like, I'm going to have food they like. Like, I'm going to have healthy food in my refrigerator, like yogurt. And like, I had all these plans. Um, so so I did what a lot of people do, and I went to the library and I was wearing out that Barnes and Noble self-help section. And then when I had kids, same thing. I just like read all the books about parenting and all that stuff. Um, and this might You'll probably get to this later, but that's what like even after reading all that stuff, if you can't access it, they're not going to help you. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm helping people do now. Uh, but that's probably a subject for a later time in this conversation. But hello, ADD. So yeah, that I knew I wanted to teach my kids different values and like allow them to be people and allow them to have emotions and not say don't get mad or you know don't be mad about that or calm down like when they're excited about something. It's like
Mhm.
let them have their emotions. Like it's
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I think I learned that after the fact now that you have when they get to the teenage years and they don't tell you their feelings, you're like, oh, I might have done what they made me do, which was suppress my feelings. So now it's like he's very stoic. And I'm like, are
Yeah.
you mad? Are you happy? Like, what is this? Like, tell me what it is just so
Like
I know. Because I have 50 million questions and I got the follows. And I think that's why he doesn't tell me
yeah.
because I
Well, it's
ask too
never too
many
late.
questions. I'm like, I just want to know all the information possible.
Yeah.
But that's the perfectionist in me, right? It was like even when you were talking about you did the perfectionist way of doing things. You said you wore out the Barnes and Noble self-help section, right?
Yeah.
So you buy every parenting book possible. What were you exactly looking for?
I was looking for the right way to parent, like,
Mm,
and then what I learned though over time was like for each little book I read, like take what works for me and leave what doesn't. And the other thing is like sometimes things work like magic and you're like, oh my God, that worked. I'm doing it every time. So then the next time you do it, it doesn't work. So that's the other thing is like sometimes the same tool is not going to fix the same exact
mhm.
problem even. So
Yes.
you just have to like have a huge bag of tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But that's
mean,
and
I was
go
gonna
ahead,
say,
sorry.
as you said that, I was thinking about, like, I don't mean to go all spiritual and religious on everybody, but like I was at church on Sunday from home. I didn't go in. I felt the ramifications for doing that. But he said that there's strategies. There's strategies that you can't take with you into this new season, right? So like that season of parenting, what you knew before is not necessarily what you had to do now, right? The example was, story of Moses when Moses died. It was like, okay, Joshua 1:1 is like, all right, you've mourned, he's dead. It's time for you to move forward, right? It's like take what you can get out of what happened there, but you gotta keep kind of pushing forward, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, that's spot on for what parenting is. Um, yeah, because parenting as a young mom in my 20s is different from parenting during the COVID years and him turning into a teenager to coaching, coaching, parenting, because I mean, it is
Well,
coaching now
yeah,
in a
that's true.
sense, right? In my 40s, and he's an adult now, right? So it's like a new transition. And I'm like, oh, I didn't learn this one. The other ones, or I'm unlearning things rather, right? The other times I wasn't, let me say it right, like I didn't learn it the right way. And or I didn't learn it at all. I tell him every day. I was like, I'm making it up as I go along, right? It was what I
Yeah.
told him the first 18 years. Now I'm like, no, I remember this point in time. I remember these. This is when I'm going to figure out if what I did originally was right or what I learned was wrong, or if I just need to give you something completely new, or maybe you're going to teach me. I think that's where that spiral ADHD conversation just went for me. I'm like, where are we going with this? I'm like, there's a message here somewhere.
I think we
But
found it.
like as I'm talking about that, because I got therapy tomorrow to like break all that down, you have talked about finding a therapist and committed to understand your childhood. What did that process reveal for you?
So the huge thing it revealed for me that I was totally unaware of was that the adult Jennifer is the one with the problem with the childhood. Like,
Mm.
because I do a specific type of therapy called EMDR. Not only that exclusively, but that's where I learned this lesson. So, so I would like when I was really like 3 or 4, I would have this memory of like having to wash underwear in the sink, and like as an adult, I'm like it was more like the energy behind it was like a punishment, and like at the adult me is like that was so wrong, I can't believe her, she is such a horrible person. But like the little me was just like, what, I'm just washing my underwear, it's fine, what are you so upset about?
It's so
And I
true.
was like, dang, you're right.
It's so true.
But
It
like
is so true.
as an adult, I know it's because it wasn't her intention wasn't like just to practically get the thing clean. It was like to make me suffer. So I think that's like the adult version. But then as a like in that child's mindset, she was just saying like, what, I'm just washing something, what are you talking about? you know so that's one thing I learned is like a lot of times the future you will project things on the past.
Mm.
So like same as like the doing the same thing the other direction. But yeah, so that's one big thing I learned that I was very surprised to learn. But and then the other thing I learned is like I should have done this a long time ago. So she's the therapist I work with now is my second therapist. So the first one I had, we just didn't really click, I think. And I had like so many crazy stories, and like I've lost a lot of people in my life. So, and it's confusing for anyone. But I'm like, don't you have that in your notes?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that. It was just like I had this self conscious thing that I thought, does she think I'm lying? Because one day she was
Mm.
like, do you like that was your other sister though? And I'm like, no, I have two sisters that died. So that was probably a me thing, like projecting my insecurities on her or whatever. Like she's gonna think I'm crazy. But anyway, so my point in all that story is like if you have a therapist and you don't vibe, if you aren't like feeling it, find another one. And I would give the EMDR a try too because it was amazing. It's like years of therapy in one session.
Just
So,
breaking it free. I mean,
but
I've done tapping, I've done salt caves, I've done a couple of healing things last year. And that's why I look like a, smile on my face and I don't look as stressed anymore because it was like literally just release my spirit from everything. Because even as you said that, I was like, yes, I have shopped around for therapists since I was in the second grade. Like 8 years old, I remember going upstairs and the school I was in and going to the guidance counselor. And like, I don't know why my mom doesn't like me. I don't know why this, this, and
aw,
this, right? And I'm
yeah.
like, how am I in? How? And like now, I'm like. girl, you were 8 years old thinking this, and I'm like, just give you a hug, right? Because even as you're
Uh-huh.
saying it, like, no, that's what she was experiencing. As the adult version of me, I'm like, no, that's just how your mom is. Just she loves you. Just let her be,
Yeah.
right? But from that time, and then getting the guidance counselors in high school, and then all my adult life, like now I found the therapist, the counselor who's like really like, listen, if you're not going to do the homework on yourself and work on you, I can't help you. Right. So like
Yeah.
being called out like that, it's like, how dare you? Right. Like there's nothing wrong with me. It's them. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, there's so much of my inner child that just has been, like you said, silent. She has been running her mouth, but no one's been listening, including me. I wasn't listening to her. So oh, we could keep going on these random tangents. I'm like, whoa, what they got to do with the question? So we'll move on. You have borrowed a lot of pieces from different philosophies. I know you sent me like a different book to read or something. I'm like, oh, this is good. I can't wait to get into it. How did you create your own roadmap? Because you say you take a little bit of, one, you take what you can get from the book and then you put it down and leave the rest. Like, what is it where, like, if you had a roadmap, you say from start to finish or halfway through of life, like, what would be your top parts of your roadmap?
So the biggest one that's helped me a lot was I think it's Jane Faber. I don't know, but it's called How to Talk So Kids Will Listen. So it's about communication and parenting kind of thing. So I lean toward positive parenting type of stuff. Um, and so that's like I don't know that there's a roadmap like do you mean like in time or like the hierarchy of what's important to me or
Yeah, more of that. Like
yeah,
what you take in every day and like you try to apply it into your life with
yeah.
your kids.
So that's the big one. And then the second one for me, because I have a neurodiverse son, is I listened to a podcast about ADHD and I cannot remember the name of it, but maybe we could put it in the notes later.
Okay.
Because it's really good if you do have an ADHD or autistic kid, it's very helpful. So, so I listen to that too because their, brains work different. So when they're screaming randomly for no reason and it pushes a button, you got to be prepared, you know like not to flip out on them because they like I said that's just like how they're wired. They can't really help it. But trying to replace that with something else. But yeah, those are the top two for me. Just and not just that book, but I've read like a bunch of positive parenting type of books and like I was saying earlier, just going back to that, letting them have big feelings and letting them talk about it and feel like a safe space for them to talk about it rather than like be quiet. You're not. And then, okay, here's another one I've learned when, especially any kids, but especially if you have neurodiverse kids, you have to let go of what society expects you to be on time every time, and they expect your kid to be quiet and not move, and like that's ridiculous for any kid. So that's another thing I've learned is just to let go of that, and I still like feel people judging me. Like I'm kind of an empath, so I like not read their thoughts, but I know like what they're thinking, I guess. Okay, I guess that does sound like I'm reading their thoughts, but not really. But
No, but
I can tell like they're thinking, oh, I would never let my kid do that or whatever. But
Mhm.
I'm just like, I've learned to let it go. Like, well, yep, I don't care.
I'm starting to treat adults like that also now. Like, you know what? That's how you've been your whole life. How am I going to come in and try to change
Yeah,
everything in a moment's notice, right? Like,
exactly.
okay, that's how you operate. Okay.
Yeah. And not that I'm comfortable when they're having a meltdown, but
Hmm.
I've, you almost have to be, it sounds crazy, but like be comfortable with the discomfort, like just be able to sit there and be uncomfortable for a while and know that it's going to change. Like everything changes, it's always changing, right? So that's the other thing. Like changing my expectations of what good behavior looks like,
Mm.
because I'd rather them be good humans than have good
Mhm.
behavior.
Yes, yes.
So,
You had said something before, and I wanted to ask you, what is the difference between positive parenting and gentle parenting? Because that seems
that's a
different.
good question. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think of that one.
Okay.
So,
And then you let us know, do a
yeah,
blog about it.
yeah, maybe I will. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that, so
Okay.
I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Because I'm like, I mean, because the gentle parenting, I think we tried it, and then COVID hit, and some of these coronavirus kids, um, they're different. They
Yeah,
are really different. My son is much older, so I'm like, you know what? I have no skin in the game to even give my opinions. I just noticed the shift. There's a shift
Yeah,
change in how these kids are showing up. They're bolder, right? And
that's
sometimes
good.
I actually am inspired by them because of how bold they are. Like, oh,
Yeah,
you're just gonna go do that? Oh, you're just gonna say what you
yeah,
oh,
me
okay, this
too.
is different. I
Same.
need to do that in my own life, right? I need to just say,
Yep.
okay, it is what it
Yeah.
is, right? Yeah, that's an interesting one. So I want to Google that one myself. Okay, we'll move on. What was the moment you realized the patterns in your body were stronger than the promises in your mind?
Well, the flip out, like I didn't really understand it until later on, but when so the first kid was like so easy until like around 3 when I had the second kid. And then my nervous system was just like, oh my God, how do I protect two kids? How to protect this kid from that kid and also protect this kid and that kid from other things. So like the anxiety like was crazy. So so I forgot your question already. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. You were having a flashback. You got triggered.
No, I'm sorry. I had to come back.
Let me word it.
From the
What does it
past.
mean that your body's patterns were stronger than your mind's promises?
Yeah, so you read all those books and everything, right? And then your kid finds a button you didn't even know you had, and they just like lay on it. They just like a angry driver in traffic. They're just laying on that thing. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna breathe deep. Okay, I'm gonna go to my oh, I needed a little breath. I'll be right back. I forgot something. So then I go to the other room and try to come or whatever, try all the things, and
Mhm.
then you're like, okay, I kept it together. I'm going back out. And then all of a sudden you're yelling again. You're like, dang it, did it again. So
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 maybe
it's
that's what it is. Maybe gentle parenting is like they continue to be gentle, but then if you have a crash out, it's like, okay, let me go back to the positive. Listen, this is the reason why like I told my son,
yes. Yep.
anytime I had a crash out, this is the reason why I got upset, sir.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like I'm not saying what I did was right,
Hmm.
but this is how you kind of trigger me. I need to work on this, but you also need to work on this, sir. Right? Like
Yeah.
we got to do better. And I'm much better at it with him being an adult now versus as
Yep.
a child. I was like, don't talk to
Yeah.
me. I don't want
Yeah.
to hear your point. Like it was it
Yeah.
was it was aggressive. It was
Yeah.
very New York.
Yeah. Well, the repair is part of what I teach too, and that's like the forgiving yourself and then knowing how to approach that, like when you screw up, because it's sometimes hard because you're like, well, I don't want to lose face and like them not respect me, but then what's more important is that you model that behavior because you want them to apologize to people when they do something wrong, or something that's not in alignment with their highest self. I guess
They
you
don't
could
know who
say,
they are
like
yet.
it's not necessarily wrong, but just explain what happened, like I'm sorry I yelled at you. I want to handle that better next time. And this is why I did that. Or, like you said, just try to explain why and not blame them and not say, but you did this.
Yeah.
Um, but you can also help point out things that they could work on too. That's your job as a parent. But yeah, so I think that's an important uh, part of the whole cycle. Like when you do blow up, because it's not like working with me is going to make you never yell at your kids again. But when you do, you'll have a pathway back to, being the kind of parent you want to be quicker and
Yes, so
not
true.
beating yourself up over it, like crying yourself to sleep at night, like I used to do.
I think it's inevitable for us. I think we can't avoid those feelings as parents also, but it's also that yeah, we have to learn how to forgive ourselves, in the process. Like, oh, I didn't want to yell at my child like that, but they made me this. Like, no, forgive yourself for what you did as a parent,
Yeah.
right? Your kids will appreciate that a whole lot more versus like you're sitting there festering and um my mom likes to talk about things that happen. I'm like, I thought you forgave me. You're still going around telling people about this. This happened 15 years ago. Like that negates everything that we have
Yeah.
gone through these last 15 years. Okay, you're stuck there. I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
Got it. Can't help you
Hmm.
there. I've forgiven you. I've forgiven the whole situation. But if you want to sit there, it's okay. It's not my
Yeah.
problem anymore. We're all
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah.
And that has
It's,
freed my nervous system so much. Like learning how to regulate it
hmm.
this past year, I think has freed me. And I keep telling people like the freedom, when I talk about freedom, is like it's freedom of finances, freedom of your health, freedom of just everything in general. Your mind's like it's so important. So
Yep.
what is nervous system regulation in practical terms, Dr. Jennifer?
So I know it's kind of a clunky term, but basically what it means is that you can you know yourself better. Like when you're about to start yelling at your kids. And I like to liken it, I guess, to like I like to use the metaphor of those little flip books that are like animation books, like
Mm-hmm.
when we were kids, we used to have those. So it's almost like you get the with when you practice like mindfulness and like slowing down and noticing things and being aware of yourself and your body and your thoughts. It's almost like you can before it flips to the next page, you like open up this time space continuum and you can go in there and like rewrite the next page before it flips.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, oh, I'm about to do this instead I'm going to do this. It opens up space for decision making, where if you don't notice it and you just keep reacting, then obviously you're going to blow up and then have to just keep repairing over and over. Um, so we want to try to get out of that loop, but understand it's not ever going to be perfect. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what regulation means to me is basically being more aware of yourself, your body, and how your body and your mind are connected. And not only that, but how your body will jump ahead of your mind before you can tell if you aren't practicing noticing.
Well,
So that's the big one.
can you give us an example of a moment where your old patterns showed up and how regulation helped you respond differently?
Oh yeah. And now that I'm teaching parents, I'm like holding myself a lot more accountable. So it's actually helped my parenting. But like like my son loves to get and he's neurodiverse, but he loves to get his toothbrush and then run around the house with his toothbrush in his mouth instead of staying in the bathroom. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to jab that in your throat. Like the anxiety starts to kick in.
Mm.
So lately, I've just, sometimes with neurodiverse kids too, it helps to like make physical contact and like herd them back in. Like, not, you can't yell at them from across the room. It ain't going to work. So
Mm.
I still do it.
Good
And then I'm
advice.
like, that is not going to work. Get up.
Good advice.
So I'll go over to him, try to guide him back in. So when he's pushing that button now, I've noticed like, oh, that's a trigger for me. So I'll kind of slow down and be like, okay, what could happen if you're running around, like get curious, ask him to get curious so he figures out the problem is helpful too. But that's kind of how one of the big things I've interrupted. Um, and then he also has stimming, with neurodiverse kids, they'll stim, so the loud random noises.
Oh, uh-huh.
So that one's still tough for me, and then we're trying to learn, like teach him how to replace that with something else. But when that happens now, I'm like, the body outpaces you still. So first my body's like, oh my God, who's dead?
Because
And
that's
then
just a
like,
natural reaction. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like
Hmm.
your amygdala can't help but like want to save someone from a bus that's about to hit him because that's what it sounds like when he
Yeah.
screams,
Oh man.
And then it's like, okay, it's just stimming. So just naming it too helps.
Hmm.
But then just being able to notice that has helped me to slow down enough, like I said, to say, okay, I don't have to yell about this. I'm just going to reinforce. And so many times we think like I've said this a million times, it's never going to work. But then sometimes you look around, you're like, oh my God, he just
It
said thank you,
worked.
or he just did this.
Yeah.
So try to really hone in on those wins too is another
Yeah.
piece of advice. Like, because you're going to notice we're negativity bias, so we're just going to notice what's wrong or what's not going well. But force yourself to notice what's going well too. That's a huge thing because then you reinforce that in your brain. Like, oh yeah, it does work eventually. It's okay. Just keep doing it. It's going to work. It's a
Yeah.
practice for a reason, right? They should
Yeah.
call it practicing parenting, I
Oh
think.
no,
But
no, don't call it that. Because some of them, no, just take it away. They don't need it. Like, as you said it, because this past year was a struggle with me and my son. In terms of like I wanted him to work. I was like, I always wanted to work since I was 14. My mom
yeah.
didn't want me versus like I'm telling you to go get a job, go get a job. And it was almost like I kept trying to rush the timing or the process of like last year was very heavy, me going through a divorce and all the things. So it was just a lot. And now he started his job last night at 10 p.m., right? He's working this night shift, which I'm like, that's bonkers. Like I'm like going to bed at that time now. I'm like, but my mom used to work night shifts. So I was like, okay, full circle, I guess. And at the same time, he has a job at Walmart. That's where I was when I had him. I was pregnant, working at Walmart. His dad worked there. So like now to see, oh, he's working at Walmart, it's like, look at this weird full circle moment. I didn't really want you to follow my footsteps, but at the same time, I want you to follow my
Yeah.
wisdom. So it got to make
Yeah.
sense, Nicole. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so but like as you talk about it, I was like, what are maybe I didn't catch on to it last year because I was just in my own loop of psycho crazy chaos, right? What are the signs that that a parent's nervous system is dysregulated?
Well, yelling at your kids, right? And then, and like the whole spanking thing, like, I have done that in the past, but I honestly regret it. And I feel like spanking, the only reason you do that is because you're mad. Like, it's anger, it's to help you feel better. It's like,
Mm.
how that's not going to help them feel better. Like, I don't know. But that's my personal opinion. Don't want to offend anyone, but actually, I don't care. I'm in my 40s now, so be offended. It's fine.
I love
You'll
it.
get over it. On second thought, let's
Someone's gonna
reframe
take,
that.
you see what she said?
Be offended.
Dr.
But
Jennifer
yeah,
said she beats her kids, and then she said, I don't care. You're gonna like click it.
no, yeah, yeah. Clickbait. Like what I actually said was, because I remember the first time I did. My son was in a. We were in Chicago in a cab, and we didn't bring the little car seat thing. Bad mom. So he was sitting in my lap, and he was trying to open the door, and I was like, just popped his hand like the body, ahead of the brain there. But I was like, I have to protect him. He's gonna jump out. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't even have the strength to open the door, but just wanted to
Mm.
teach him like that's not safe. So, and he looked at me like, oh, and I was like, oh, so sorry. But yeah, that's what I mean about like your body just goes ahead of you and you do what you've been modeled when you were a kid, and that's what I was modeled. So, but learning to rewire that, and like I said, that only person that serves is like your anxiety or your fear or your anger. It's
Yes.
not helping them. Like, prove me wrong, I guess. And people are like, I was spanked and I think I'm better for it. It's like, well, how do you know? How do you know what you would have been like
Like, oh,
before
really?
if you weren't?
Oh. Like, I could tell. Like, that's how I look at myself. Like, when I had to, I was like, no, Nicole, you're not better from them. No, you're
Yeah,
not. So
yeah.
yeah. What does it look like to regulate in the moment when your kid is having a meltdown?
So it looks a lot different for different people because you got to figure out what's your going to be your go-to, to help you remain calm. Sometimes I do crazy stuff and I don't care to share it, but I'll do like down dog pose just randomly, like if they're acting crazy, and then they're like curious, like what is she doing? Sometimes I'll just sit in the floor cross-legged and just look at them,
Like,
and
I'm waiting for you to be done.
then it stops them, and they're like, what are you doing? So they get curious about it. And it kind of, we're always co-regulating with whoever we're with. So if I can calm my nervous system, it calms theirs down.
Mhm.
And if I ramp it up, it's just going to make the behavior even worse. So that's the one thing I found. But like to interrupt that, your body getting ahead of your brain kind of thing, once you start to notice, you can choose to do something else, like I was saying. So that might look like that. It might be like, but more practically for most people that they feel comfortable with, is probably to like go to another room. Even if you don't tell them, they're going to sense that you're getting upset, and
Mhm.
that's probably they want connection, and that's why they're doing it anyway. Um, but so there might be a better option here, but sometimes I'll just say I need to go in here for a minute, so I'll just go into my room and close the door. Inevitably, they follow me, so I'm working on that one. Um,
It's
but then,
like at the same time I'm hearing relationship advice at the same time. I'm like, huh,
yeah, they're
this is
so
very like
intertwined.
because
Yeah,
we're all children, right? We're
yeah,
all just bigger children now. Right now we got a little
yep.
bit of money and responsibilities, but at the end of the day, we're still like the original feelings that we're having, like that first anger is like when did you have that first angry feeling? Oh, it's that childhood. Now you're being triggered and it's bringing something up without you talking about it or even remembering. That's what's been happening for me. Like, oh, I forgot about this story. I forgot about
Hmm.
how I perceived this path that happened, right? It's like completely different.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so you're freeing me right now. I hope it's freeing somebody. Like, that's how children act, but some of the adults never actually truly grow up, right? Like
yeah.
I had to do a lot of growing up and I'm so thankful for it, right? Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like yes, I had a lot of immaturity because I was not taught that, right? My mom did
Hmm.
not have her mom around, so she didn't know what she was doing also with a daughter, right? So it's like now it's okay. I freed her, I freed myself from what I went through. Now let me go parent myself. Like that's where it comes down to. Like when you're talking all this, I'm literally reparenting myself. Like that's the stage of life that I'm in now. So
Yeah.
I feel like we could talk all day.
I know.
Like, like,
It's so fun
like
though.
time is going by so fast. So you said you're parenting a neurodivergent child that comes with its own set of challenges. Let's talk about that journey. When did you first realize your child was neurodiverse?
So he was my first child, so I think my story will probably be a little different than other people, or maybe not. Um, so, and I'd never had boys in my family either, so that was another thing. So I just thought he was quiet because I was quiet too, and as I said before, so I was like, oh, he's just like me. He doesn't talk that much, um, and my husband talks more than I do, but I'm kind of catching up with him. But so he would just be quiet, and like even in preschool, his preschool teacher would say like he doesn't really play with the other kids, and I was like, oh, and then I'd look it up in my little development book, like, oh, let me look this up real quick. And I was like, oh no,
Mm.
that's normal for his age. They do parallel play. It's fine. So, and don't think I was ever like wanting to deny that it was, I wasn't avoiding it or anything. I was just like, I think it's fine. Um, but then, so when it really came to light was when he was in first grade because his teacher said, I think he has like problem with verbal processing because I'll like ask him to do something and then I'll think he's not listening. And then like later he'll like do it, you know? So,
Mm.
or like she'll ask a question and then he's like talking about something else and he's like, it's like, hello, I'm asking you a question. And then he'll answer the question eventually, but he's got to get out whatever he's talking about first.
Mm.
So that I think she kind of suspected it, but I feel like there's some kind of invisible barrier that teachers aren't supposed to say. I think he's autistic, so I think they maybe are worried about litigation or something being sued. But I think that's ridiculous too. By the way, they should be able to say, I suspect you might have this. You should maybe get him tested, whatever. So that's what we did. We got him tested at like an independent, not through the school. We did the through the school too, but we got him tested independently for pretty much all the neurodiversity. The other clue, he's also dyslexic. So that one is probably really was the biggest clue, the red flag, because he was in preschool, like I said, from like 2 years old, and he, they learn their alphabet and like how to read short words, all these things, and he was really behind in reading. So I was like, that makes no sense. He's like, he knows all this stuff. What? So we had him tested, and sure enough, he had autism. He's on the spectrum, and then like low interventional needs, but on the spectrum, and then which is very helpful to know. And ADD was kind of obvious to everyone but me because I was like, I guess it's just a boy. I don't know because I
Mm.
remember being in the doctor's office and he had his like feet up on the wall, and I was like, so you think he might have ADD? She just looked
I
at
never
him.
asked those
Look,
questions.
she just looked over at him and she was like, yeah, he might. I think it'd be good to get him checked out. Like, do you not see what I'm seeing, lady?
Yeah.
Um, so and then the dyslexia, like the reading thing, and then so that's kind of how through the school and just like over time, the ADD became probably the first thing that was noticeable to other people, but like I said, not to me. And
Mhm.
then once we started treating that, other things came to light when we did the testing and everything. But I would have probably had no clue. I would have just thought he's hyper crazy kid, and
Yeah.
and just doesn't want to listen. Which is so that's what I mean. It's very helpful if you have any suspicion at all. I would really encourage parents out there to get their kids tested because it's going to help you know how to interact with them
Mhm.
because they don't think like the same way as most kids and things like that. So.
Yeah, like as you're saying it, I remember like especially in the Black community, they don't like stigmas, they don't like labels.
Mhm.
And it's like, but you're fine being a diabetic. You're
Yeah.
fine with high hypertension. Like we have those labels very early on, but when it comes to something about your mind, it's like
Hmm.
we lose our minds. Because I remember when they used to say that about my son. He used to be in the library, in kindergarten, he'd be in the library and then he'd just get up and walk away. Like, no, we're supposed to be doing reading time. They're like, they just let him be. And I'm like, Jamar, you're supposed to sit there and you're supposed to listen. And that's what all I kept doing, right? Like yelling at him about it. And then like as he got older, I'm just like, you're not gonna turn these assignments in on time. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna do that. But even noticing in myself, like, oh, we both leave all the cupboard doors open and walk away like it's nothing. Oh,
Yep.
we can start in one room and move on to the other. Is it our
Yeah,
trauma? Is it, genetics? I don't know. I mean, that's something that, that could be a whole other conversation another day, but it's that awareness that now I'm just like, "Darn, I wish my kid was on." Sometimes I'm like, I wish he was on medication. Other times I wish that I had just had the conversation with other people early on so that I would have known, right? Because again, I wasn't going to
yeah,
Barnes and Nobles and picking it up. I was just going based off what my community was doing. And,
yeah,
sometimes they mean well, but your community don't know all the answers. You have to go and go
yeah,
find other communities. And
yeah.
that's a little shameless plug about my own communities that I'm creating, right? Like I am very intentional about who I bring in my space. Like if you're not in here because you want to grow, right? That is like my mission statement now is
Mhm.
like I'm looking for aligned leaders. I'm looking for intentional growth, right? There and those who are walking in with Christ, right? That like I can't go back to the old life that I used to have, right? It was great when it was there, but it was also not so great. And now that this new chapter that I'm shifting into is expecting more of me, I can't go back to that identity, right? So I don't even know why I talked about that. We're supposed to be
That's
talking about parents,
okay.
but it's like it's the reparenting myself. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that could be the topic of today. Like positive parenting yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Okay. Oh gosh, time is like really running out. All right, we gonna skip something. We might have to do a part two. I think that's what's gonna happen. I
That's
think that's
fine
what
with me.
we
I'm game.
Okay. Where can people find you?
So I'm on LinkedIn as Dr. Jennifer Martin Maples, and most of my things there are more doctor focused. So that's like where I talk to doctors about building connection with patients and that type of thing. And then I'm also on Facebook, the same name, Dr. Jennifer Martin Maples. And Instagram, I'm the I Maven. So it's TheEYEMAVEN. So just a little cutesy name there for that one. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
And how can people work with you?
So I have an program coming up. It starts February 3rd, and it's going to be from 12 to 1 Eastern. And it's just where we meet 4 weeks, all the weeks, all the Tuesdays in February. And we're going to go through this framework that I was talking about today a little bit, kind of gave you a little bit of feel for it. But so that's way we can go from, it's called Chaos to Connection. So that's what the goal is, to try to get you to connect more with your kids and stop yelling and screaming at them and losing it and then feeling bad about it and doing the same thing all over again. So
Yes.
we're going to help to give you a jump start on the work you have to put in to reset your nervous system so you can stop, get out, break the cycle. Right?
Yes. Is there anything you want to leave our Breaking Chains community with?
Um, the biggest thing for my parents out there is, well, they're not my parents, but the parents, um, is that you're probably doing a lot better job than you think you are. So just remember that. And and the biggest thing you can start with is repair. So repair and forgiving yourself, and then repairing with your kid, like we were talking about earlier. I think that's paramount, to getting out of that cycle.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Jennifer, for being here. Your story, your work, your mission. I definitely want you back because I don't even think I touched half the questions on the bottom half. We didn't really go into your framework. But this is exactly what Breaking Chains is about. You're helping parents break generational patterns, one regulated breath at a time, because you just helped me today. And that world changing is needed and necessary. Everyone go follow Dr. Jen at the iMaven on Instagram and Dr. Jennifer Martin Maples on LinkedIn. Connect with her, learn from her. If you're a cycle breaking parent, she is your person. Okay. Links to everything will be in the show notes. This will be posted on YouTube. And thank you so much for being here. Until next time, this is Nicole Richards and this is Breaking Chains. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.